everybody, my name's Luke Doucet, and I'm going to show you this guitar. This is a Telecaster. It's actually a Shyboy Telecaster made by a friend of mine, Brad Kyogan. He's a Toronto guitar maker. He repairs instruments at a shop called Capsule Guitars on Queen Street in Toronto. But more importantly, he builds these fantastic Telecasters. This one's sort of set up like an Esquire in the sense that it only has one pickup in the bridge, as opposed to a normal Telecaster, which has two pickups. Typically there's a neck pickup, but on this guitar there's just one one bridge pickup. Now this instrument it's made of swamp ash. It's very, very light. It's probably the lightest Telecaster I've ever played. I don't know, it comes in at like 6 pounds or 6.5 pounds. I'm not a very big guy and my back is kind of screwed, so I find it really helpful to have a very light instrument. And it gives the guitar a particular kind of snap. As you can see, there's a rosewood fretboard on this guitar, which tends to darken the sound a little bit. The maple fretboards, which are more common on the earlier Telecasters, specifically from the 50s, had a particularly bright sound. This guitar is quite bright to begin with, I think, potentially due to the fact that the swamp ash body is very light. So the rosewood fretboard gives it a little bit of a darker tone to balance the sound out. As you can see, it's got the vintage sort of 50s style bridge, as opposed to having 6 individual saddles. It's got the three saddles, each one accommodating 2 strings. That's the 50s style. Beyond that, what else can I tell you? I use a fairly shallow C-shaped neck. Again, the 50s Telecasters had a fairly large profile neck. My hands aren't that big, so I find a thinner neck a little bit helpful for me in the way that I play. The pickup selection on this guitar, there's still a 3-way pickup selector, even though it's only got 1 pickup. And what it is that this back position right here, you can hear the buzz coming out of the amplifier because it's a single coil pickup. But the back position, it bypasses these 2 knobs. In other words, the guitar is hardwired from the pickup directly to the output jack, bypassing the volume and the tone. So if I try and turn the volume down when it's on that selection, nothing happens. So that's really the most direct pickup to amplifier signal that you can possibly have. I find it a little bit too bright. This position right here in the middle, it's the same pickup, except this time it's the circuitry is actually going through the volume pot and the tone pot. So they're engaged. And for some reason, that does remove a very, very tiny bit of the shrill top end of the guitar. I tend to use that position the most. I find that when I set my amplifiers up to accommodate the Gretsch White Falcon, if I switch to the Telecaster, it's a fairly bright switch anyway. So to go to this position where I'm bypassing the volume and the tone, the additional brightness that results from that is sort of overwhelming. So for my application, I tend to leave it in the middle, which is almost undiscernible. I mean, you still get this versus this. Yeah, that's like the cheese grater. Anyway, sounds good. Tone pot works. So the third position on this toggle switch, which is typically considered the neck pickup position, on this guitar there is no neck pickup because it's set up like as I mentioned before, like an Esquire with just the 1 bridge pickup. So in this position, what happens is there's a capacitor that's being engaged, and the capacitor gives the guitar more of a throaty kind of tone. So as opposed to the really bright Tele sound, you get this. Which is kind of nice because sometimes a Telecaster, the 1 bridge pickup is as beautiful as it is just 1 sound. So it's nice to have an option versus this particular setting is really useful for slide, I find, because it's dark. There you go. This is the Shyboy Esquire. I suppose I should refer to it as an Esquire. Brad Keoghan, Shyboyguitars.com. He makes jazz masters too, but his specialty is definitely Telecasters, and in my opinion, they're some of the best out there. So look him up.